Yeah. Here we are. He's saying go. All right, so we will go. Welcome, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order. Can we have approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. John,
Y'all
would you please?
rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. Let's see, we have announcements. So tonight it's summer, right? So everybody understands summer. We have some vacations, we have time off, we have a couple people somebody got called away, so welcome to summer. So like I said, we're right-handed tonight. I have to remember to keep looking this way. So Missy's going to have announcements for us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. As summer school winds down, we want to remind families that there are still several community sites serving free breakfast and lunch through the end of the summer. For those locations, dates, and meal times, call 361-3446 or visit the website summerfoodblog.org. The information can also be found conveniently through the announcements on our school district website at beloitschools.net. The first day of school this fall will be September 2nd. For the new school day hours, registration details, school supply lists, immunization updates, expanded busing options, and more, visit our Back to School link found under our announcements section at www.beloitschools.net. To register, students must be enrolled in school. New students may be enrolled through the district's centralized enrollment office Mondays through Friday, 8 a.m. through 3:30 p.m., or by special appointment. Fall sports will be organizing soon, and we welcome our incoming high school students to come by the weight room and new cardio facility at Beloit Memorial High School. The rooms are open and supervised during the following session times: 6:30 a.m., 8 a.m., and 9:30 a.m. To check out what other community activities and programs are available for the remainder of the summer, please check out our announcements and our e-flyer site found under the, quote, For Parents section of our website. That concludes the July announcements.
Thank you, Missy. Just to clarify, right, so we're going to take students right up until the day we start, or even the days after. I'm just getting lots of head nods here. So if you are out there and you're saying, should my child be in the Beloit School District? The answer is yes, and you should come either over to here, and they'll tell you how to make it all happen, and we'll take you at any point, right? So we'd love to have you come join us. That's the plan. Okay, so that is announcements. Thank you very much. We have recognitions. So, Liz.
I am ready. We have a couple great recognitions tonight, some fun recognitions. And the first one, I have a team of some wonderful gentlemen here representing one of our favorite restaurants, Converse. So if I can ask Ross, Rich, Bill, and Jim to all join me up here at the podium.
While they're joining us, I was out there the other night and had this great conversation that people were just amazed that on a Sunday night it was as crowded and doing such a wonderful, brisk business. It was totally unexpected by those of us that stopped in just to get an ice cream. But awesome at the same time. So.
It's a popular place, and anytime you see their friendly faces, immediately, it doesn't matter if you're 2 or if you're 100, your face just lights up. These gentlemen represent one of our most active partners. They provided countless valuable fundraising opportunities for many of our PTOs and our student groups, as well as providing incentive prizes for school programming such as our positive behavior interventions and supports. In addition, they have donated their delicious custard, which sounds really good right now during this hot night, at many of our events, including ribbon cuttings and open houses, and each year at our Summer Learning Conference. The most recent was just this past month. And our students, of course, as I mentioned, they always enjoy the ice cream, visiting with Scoopy, the mascot, and of course, the friendly staff at Culver's. So we really want to thank you for all of your support and all you do for us, and of course, your cheerfulness. It's always wonderfully appreciated.
Thank you.
John, go ahead.
I think it's wonderful the way in the school district the term Scoopy Night has become a part of our vocabulary. Everybody knows what one of those is. It's just a very cool thing. In the Summer Learning Conference, we saw, we had huge numbers of educators there, and many of these educators are distinguished people who've been in education a long time. And when it was time for Culver's and the frozen custard at the break, I'll tell you, you couldn't fight your way through it. I mean, they were so into it. And I devised my own personal strategy. I waited until the break was almost over, and everybody else had already gotten their ice cream, and I then walked up and got my ice cream and enjoyed it tremendously. And so it's all good, and you guys just are. You're great partners. You have been for years, and we just really appreciate you.
I'll add my thanks, and I think about how many times in the community do we hear Culver's and something positive going on, some recognition of what's happening, and so your community spirit, not just at the school district, but kind of all over, is marvelous, and it's just what makes this community great, right? And what makes your organization a great one as well, because I'm sure that comes from an ethos of not only you gentlemen, but from the whole organization. Now you get that as we go. So. I appreciate that a lot. So I have an opportunity. I work at the college, so I have people that come in and go, "Do you have Culver's in this town?" Right? It's like, yes, we do. Let me tell you about that, right? And I know that, like, our audience is a little small tonight. I'll tell you that. It's July, right? Where are they? I'm going to guess, right? They're getting their ice cream, right? Thank you. Shannon, please.
I too want to say thank you to all that you do for the community, and I think just Culver's as a whole, the values of the organization is paramount. And it reminds me going up 151 and seeing the Big Blue Barn, and everything that you four stand for, everything that Culver stand for, is genuine USA. And to me, that's huge, and I think that carries over in your commitment to the district as well. And it's exciting. The kids all love the product, and who doesn't? But so just thank you, and thank you for being just down, good, USA, proud, polite, proud. Thank you so much.
Nora?
I go to Culver's often. I know you know that, but one thing that I do appreciate, and it hasn't been said tonight, is your staff of young people. They're always right on top of your order, I know, and they count their change correctly. And sometimes that doesn't help in other places, but they're always friendly. And so the values that you have as a business carries through, and you're teaching our young students who are your employees, as well as those who are part of Scoopy Night, to carry on those values. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, I get to be the one to present this, and I'm so excited. It's not as exciting as ice cream, but very proud of this. We're presenting you this certificate in recognition of generous, and I have to really emphasize, generous partnership with the School District of Beloit in supporting district programming and events, student achievement, and family engagement. So I have this to you guys. Would you like to say a few words? Well, I do want to mention really quickly, they are having dollar days, and I heard it's cheese curds night tonight, so if anybody's watching live, cheese curds.
The dollar mini mixer is tomorrow.
Thanks. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And our next recognition is one of our very own schools. Here to represent Converse Elementary School is Diane Meyer. She could join me at the podium. This is one of our outstanding professional educators, and she is part of a school that was recently named a Wisconsin Spotlight School by the state's Department of Public Instruction. This means that Converse is considered such a success that the state will promote it to all the other state school districts as a school to emulate. They're putting them out there as, look what these guys are doing. They're fabulous. Repeat this. Do what they're doing. To be considered for this honor, a school had to have received School of Recognition status from the state for at least 3 years. and Converse has done so. They received the honor in 2011 to 12, 2012 to 13, and 2013 to 14. And the wonderful part is, when they're getting this every year, they're still excited, as excited as they were when they first received it. And part of the honor is actually receiving a grant to help pay for hosting costs associated with having district teams come to Beloit. And I know that that's a lot of work coming up for you guys, but really appreciate it. We appreciate what the school staff does for our students, the engagement you have with families, the appreciation you have for each other, and of course, putting Beloit in the spotlight. Beloit proud all the way.
Cool. Say thank you. I think for me, it's important to remember that, we have people that are leading the district out in front, helping us understand best practices, helping us understand the place we need to be, right? The place we need to be for children. So not only are we, as I read this, not only are we reading how we're going to help others, but I know that that conversation is happening within the district as well, right? As you share, as the Converse teachers and staff share with others, that's just helping everybody else kind of keep moving. So thank you for your good work. Thank you for all the great efforts that are going on out there. And it's awesome that we can raise that flag again. So it's a really good thing. So, John, are you waving at me? Steve first.
Well, you have a shining star right here with Diane Meyer in front of you. She's one of our great teachers in the district. She really is. And, what Diane does with the data and the academic well-being of our kids. But that whole entire Converse staff has really come together as really one of the better staff in the district. And it's a district that has a lot of good staff. And so I had Stephanie's evaluation this morning, and she's stiff neck and all, and poor girl, was struggling to be there. So I know that she would have liked to have been here tonight. She's very proud of her school, and there's a lot to be proud of. So I do want to thank Diane. I want to thank the entire Converse staff for kind of leading the way, like John said, because you really are doing that. So thank you.
You always need a bellwether to flock, somebody to lead the way. And Converse is being selected as a spotlight school is exactly that. They are an example, a role model, and a leader, not just for the Beloit School District, but for the entire state of Wisconsin. And I find that the idea that academic leadership and academic role models and academic fine examples for the state of Wisconsin are coming out of Beloit to be just fantastic. And so we're very proud. And we're proud of you guys, and we're proud of all that you're doing. And we know that you're probably just getting started.
Great. Oh, Shannon.
I'd like to echo everything that everyone else said. And I think that we need to reflect about, as well, that it's not just 1 year. It's not just 2 years, it's 3 years. And this is hard work, and this is commitment to our students and commitment to our community. And it's doing something great over and over again. And that's what you have demonstrated, the school has demonstrated, the district's demonstrated. So to say we're Beloit proud truly brings it home when you're able to do things like this, of the greatness that you are for so many years in a row. So great job. Could not be more proud, and thank you.
And I get to be the one to present you with this to take back. This certificate is awarded to Converse Elementary School in recognition of professional dedication and collaboration in achieving student success, leading to Spotlight School honors from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next item on the agenda is citizens or delegations or areas of interest. And is there anyone who wishes to join and speak to us tonight? If there is, I have a speech to read. If not, we'll forego the speech from the president.
That sounds like a threat.
It is. It's a long piece of paper. Okay, for that, thank you very much. Please know we welcome anybody who wants to come and visit with us and chat with us, and I will read the speech and it will be fine. So please join us if you so desire. Our next item up will be Superintendent's report to the board, and I believe it has something to do with energy.
It does, not my energy. So a couple of years ago, the board approved a contract with, at that time, what was called Energy Educators. And they've since then changed name. We hired Kent Weber, a retired science teacher from McNeil at the time, to kind of spearhead that initiative. And tonight he's going to give you a report of how we've done over the last few years.
Thank you, board, for allowing me to be here tonight. It's a real pleasure to be in front of you. Well, this energy program is, like like Mr. McNeil said, started about 2 years ago. And our program, whoops, wrong button. Oops. There we go. Our main goal is to save dollars here. Save dollars while maintaining and improving the comfort and safety of our customers, being our students, our staff, our teachers, and doing all this while eliminating waste. And that has been a big part of my project, is to make sure that everything works well, but also we're in the process of eliminating waste. Another part of this program too, a very important part of it, is to develop a culture, an environmental culture where people put in the forefront of their minds how to save energy in their home, in their classroom, just basically in their space. And we've done this in a variety of ways. Now, I'm the energy specialist, and my job is quite, it's a good job. I love it. In fact, where else can you go out on the roof of Beloit Memorial High School and look out over the river at midnight and check and see if anything's running? It's absolutely one of my favorite things to do. But that's also a very important part as far as finding out what is still running at night. The one thing we want to do is we want to make sure that things are turned off when we're not occupied. If there's no customers to benefit from this, that would be wasting energy, and that's what we want to avoid. I'm also in charge of the energy management system. That's what the EMS stands for, which means programming time of day, making sure that things aren't running past when they should, and also making sure when things are running when they're supposed to. Like, for instance, tonight's board meeting. We have to program this in to make sure that you're comfortable as well during this time. And the high school really keeps me busy because there's a lot going on at the high school at all times. Now, this next slide tells us about the cost avoidance savings to date. This is what we've saved from September 1st to through May. That's as far as we had the data at the time. And the data collection is actually a very important piece. In fact, I have my data lead here tonight who makes sure that I have my data up to date and also correct. But our cost avoidance savings to date so far from that period of time is $407,574, which is very significant. And the significance of this too, okay, put in your mind here what has happened over the last 2 years. Number one, we've actually completed, at this point in time, we've completed 178,908 square feet of improvement. Now, each of these spaces are not only heated, but they're also air conditioned. And probably the most important piece, the most important room to our district right now is our pool. Now, the pool is beautiful. It's 29,900 square feet, actually more than that, and it's 2.5 stories tall, and it has to be ran 24 hours, 24/7. It has to be climate controlled through that time. That means the pool temperature has to stay constant. So it doesn't matter if it's December or if it's July. You want that temperature to be right at 82 degrees. So therefore, that particular space, I don't put a schedule on. It has to be maintained that way. And it's working really well right now, and I just love going into that place. And it's also nice to see that they're very diligent about putting the pool cover on every night. And I've been around to check almost every night. So, also, this equates, by the way, whoops, go back, to 15.41%. Now, I want to take another look at this data too, because Janelle asked me the other day, she asked me for the fiscal year cost avoidance. So I ran it from July 1st last year to June 30th, and I was amazed. In that period of time alone, we saved $285,000. So we started off kind of slow, and I think we're picking up speed. And I'm very, very proud of this. We also, by the way, in September 1st, we're going to have another 74,000 square feet coming online at Cunningham. and that'll be another exciting time. I haven't been into that new section to find out what's going on in there. I'm really anxious to see what's going on. I'm assuming it's almost close to completion, which is awesome. And of course, Fran Frusen coming up here too. It's been amazing to see that go up. And on that one, we'll be doing geothermal, and that's something I need to learn more about because it's going to be time to manage that sometime very soon. Now, the monthly savings trend here, now this shows you where I started. It's called the Quick Start Period, Pre-Energy Specialist. I came on board on June 28th of 2012. And after that point, during that time, I got my really, really valuable training from Synergistic. Synergistic has provided me training throughout this entire process. It's been continuous, and I swear I learn something new every time they come here, which is very often. And you'll notice the trend there. The trend actually goes upward. It continues up above the zero. The fast track, as they called it, between May 1st, when the board signed the contract, to September 1st was well below the zero line. In fact, negative numbers, minus $5,668. That actually reflects a lot of the equipment that was left running when it really didn't need to be running. And that was one of the first things we corrected. Now, since then, we've been growing. We've been adding to this. Okay, and this is the utility cost distribution. And right now, most of our budget goes towards electricity, then natural gas, and then water. Water is actually becoming quite the valuable commodity too, and it's also becoming more expensive. Okay, this is the energy use summary. In other words, this tells us how much we've used and the avoided use. If you look at the water, this is one thing I want to point out to you. The CCF probably doesn't mean a whole lot, but if you put it in terms of gallons, 1 CCF is 748 gallons. So if you multiply that number times 748, come up with a pretty phenomenal number. And every drop of water we can save is awesome. Now, this is one area too where I really would like to see our students get involved this fall and making sure that they're conscious about the water that they use and doing everything they can to make sure that they save, whether it's a home, whether it's a school, but especially at school too, because sometimes those faucets stick and they stick open, they run. Okay, if you get the kids in saying, "Hey, the water's running in the bathroom here," to the janitor, they can take care of it right away. Sometimes those things go unnoticed for a while. And this is the energy cost summary here. The energy cost summary reflects how much money the avoided cost has been in this particular, in the electricity, natural gas, and also in water. Okay, now Energy Star is something we're going to be aspiring to be. We want to become an Energy Star school. Actually, each of the schools, whether it's Bird, well, actually Bird just closed now, but Converse, Cunningham, all these schools can become Energy Star partners. And it all comes down to how much can we save in energy use. And this is the part I like the best. This is actually the part that makes me most excited. The environmental benefits, okay? Going beyond the numbers at the top, looking at the savings and how they equate. This is something I report to the staff periodically, especially during environmental months. Like, for instance, 1,735 metric tons of CO2. That's great. Removing 361 automobiles from the roads for an entire year. That's amazing. And planting 44,488 tree seedlings. That's amazing as well. And all this comes from data that I have to input into my computer into something called ECAP, which is actually an independent company from Synergistic. But this software enables me to do quite a lot of different things with my data as far as reporting. Okay, and teamwork. I cannot say enough how important teamwork is to our entire project, our program. And number one on the list is the school board. Thank you very much for starting this program. And also our executive team, Superintendent Steve McNeil, and also Jeff Jacobson, who has been my reporting senior on this whole project. Our principals and staff, every one of those principals and every one of the staff have been very supportive. I come in, when I do my audits, I sometimes do them during occupied times, during school time. And when I do, they're right there. They're to help out. How can I help you? And I'm more than happy to let them know how they can help. So it's been a great time. The ABM staff has been amazing as well. We have, if there's something wrong that needs to be fixed, they're right on it. Case in point, there was not enough air movement in the pool, and it was reported to me, and I looked at my stuff, and everything looked good on my computer. But 2 guys today went up on the roof for the pool, for the air handler up there, and today, 90 degrees up there on the roof, they changed out the filters because the filters had become clogged. But they did it immediately. So I was very, very impressed and very, very happy about this. And our teachers are doing a lot to reduce waste, both waste in energy and also in recycling. I've been very, very happy with what we've done so far. We've got a long ways to go yet, and I would hope that we would continue on the same track. And the future of our energy program, this year there's going to be a little bit different approach as far as getting our schools involved. The one thing that has happened over this last year is we now have a level playing field. In other words, most of the construction is done. And so now the numbers that we get, everybody's going to be pretty much comparable. Almost all the schools are about the same size. So we're going to have a traveling trophy, both for the intermediate schools and the high school. That'll be one trophy, and also the elementaries. And it'll be traveling. So each month, a building that produces the best energy savings will actually be, we'll get the trophy. And I'll keep it for 1 month until I get the next set of data. Also, we're going to continue to decrease our carbon footprint on planet Earth. I'm such an Earth fan. I collect globes. I just love everything there is to do with green and blue. It's just a beautiful place. But we also want to continue developing our energy saving culture. And next year, when I come back, you're going to see some even more amazing savings. Because once we get the students involved, once we get everybody involved, it's going to be pretty phenomenal. So, does anybody have any questions?
Great, thank you. Shannon, start.
Thank you. I have to say, when we were first, as a board, presented with the opportunities that this program would bring to us, I was excited about the potential for cost savings, but a bit skeptical that we may be able to realize them, particularly with the upcoming referendum. So I think you are a shining example of programs don't produce results, but people do. Because I think every time I get one of the emails that you send out, it's so positive, it's so uplifting, it's so energetic that it empowers everybody to do exactly what you're asking, and nobody feels like it's an obligation. So
Thank you.
Thank you genuinely for making this program successful and for your energy and your cheerleading to get everybody on board, because we would not be nearly as successful without that energy. So thank you.
Thank you.
So do you turn off your computer when you get his email?
I do not, and I have a
come on.
state computer.
Okay.
Actually, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is I think we were very fortunate to have you be the front person to implement this program. And I too appreciate the emails, the reminder emails, and the communication, the very positive communication. And I think because of your passion and the way you present the need for everyone to be energy conscious, and it comes across so positive that you want to jump on board and do what you're asking to be done in the emails. So thank you for all that you've done to make this a successful
Thank you.
program.
And I just need to clarify, it's not that I don't turn, I thought you said, do I
okay.
turn? No, because this is an important fact. I thought you meant, does it make me shut down and because I'm being reminded of something
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
my
want to
question.
do? No, it doesn't make me want to close my email because of what I'm reading, but I do power down.
Oh, okay.
So,
There you go.
two different plays on the word.
Steve, please.
Thank you.
Well, I kind of want to echo what Shannon said. I couldn't agree more. It is people, and Kent's been an absolute blessing for us in the middle of this. He was handpicked by us because we knew he'd be that guy, and quite frankly, thank you, Kent, for the work you've done. But I do want the board to hear that we've had the conversations, really critical conversations with Synergetics, because the truth is, we don't feel yet we have realized the savings we ought to realize. And we think that they've done a great job, and we're getting there, and their integrity is not in question, but we have a long way to go. And in fairness to them, and in fairness to us, we have been a moving target because we've had nothing but building projects going during this whole time, and then even switching over, some of our maintenance staff and some of those things, which those variables can be pretty massive in a project like this. I really look forward to this year. I look forward to this year because our buildings, for the most part, there'll only be one that's open, and that's not going to be one we're in, and that's Fruzen. The rest of them that we are going to be in are going to be closed up, not in construction all year. I anticipate a mild winter after last year with no school closings. And,
In the notes, thank you very much.
Yep. And but I do want you to hear as a board that we monitor this very closely, and we meet with them quarterly. And I have to tell you, they have a lot of integrity in what they're doing, and their goals are lofty, and so are ours. So thank you.
So let me add my thanks. I think it's important that we point out, you gave us one slide on $400,000, right, 15%, and we can blow that up and we can make that large, and that's huge. That's not a little number. That's a significant number, and when we start talking budget, right, then it's real money, right, at that point in time.
Right.
And Janelle's going to tell us that that's real money all the time. And that, if we're not spending it on energy, it allows us to do what we need to do to educate kids, to support teachers, to, do the right things for the district and the staff and the people that are here. So thank you for that, because that's exactly where we need to be going, right?
Thank you.
I think the other piece, and maybe it's kind of a way to think about it a little bit, and you got my attention when you talked about getting students involved. So I'm interested, we're a school district, right? We're not an energy management company. We have good people that are helping us with that question, but we're a school district, so we teach, we're educators. So how is it that we can engage our students to study this in class and then come out and help us do this project, right? What can they learn so they can take it? They can maybe incorporate a little bit into their life. Maybe they can incorporate some actual learning from class and apply it right away, which would be awesome. But are there ways that you can connect with some of those folks that are working on those areas in a variety of classroom spaces that can say, how can we start to have students be part of this, right? And that'll help us. It'll get Shannon to turn off her computer when her son comes home and says, Mom, it's just sitting there, right? But, to think about that and help students to be able to ingrain that, because then you're truly creating that culture for us, but beyond us, right? We're doing our educational job to reach out and teach sustainability.
And if you look at the second bullet point up here, Green and Healthy Schools, Wisconsin, we attended Jeff Jacobson and I attended a seminar for that program, and it is through the DPI, and it really does, it not only talks about energy savings, but also talks about eating healthy and so on. It talks about student gardens. It talks about creating no idle zones in school areas, and all these things are things that kids can get involved with. Because the more the kids get involved with this, the more they take it home, the more valuable this whole program becomes. So,
And I'll add my last piece, because this is my own philosophy. When we grow it from ground up, not top down, it'll last, it'll stay, and we'll be able to move on, and it'll keep going to be able to do that, because I'll buy in. So, Steve.
John, your point about getting students involved is really important point as we go into the Fruzen Intermediate School. The Fruzen Intermediate School, being geothermal, will be an incredibly efficient school. In fact, it has been rated 100%, which is way above any, I mean, if you can get 74, 78%, you're in great range. But more importantly, that we've talked a lot to the board about a kiosk that's going to be put in there so that students can watch the energy efficiency as the student or as the building is in operation. We have advanced that now to a point that we're going to be able to have a kiosk, that same kind of monitoring system that will be on time at every building we have in the district, so that all of our buildings can be our students every day can be involved with that on-time energy efficiency and see how they're doing at their building in those competitions that Ken is talking about. So I'm pretty excited about that part of it, because it does not only give our kids ability to be kind of a green in their thinking, and responsible in their thinking, but it certainly is an educational component we haven't had before.
Awesome. So thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. We look forward to future conversations.
Me as well. Thank you.
So we're ready to move forward next to reports to the board. And tonight, I think Shannon's going to lead us on finance, right? We'll jump in and help if we need, but Shannon.
Thank you, John. So the finance meeting was called to order at 5:53 p.m. on July the 8th. And the first item, because there were no POs between $15,000 and $25,000, the first item was Converse Elementary Spotlight Schools Grant Award Acceptance. And this was in the amount of $50,000 for Converse Elementary School. We had another grant then that was also accepted by the Finance Committee, and that was the Hackett Elementary After School Program Statewide Community Grant Awards Acceptance. And that was a community needs grant in the amount of $8,608 for Hackett Elementary School's After School Program. Next, we had the Education for Homeless Children and Youth Grant Award Acceptance. This again was in the amount of $50,000. So a great night for grants, 3 phenomenal grants, and thank you to those organizations that helped fulfill those. We then talked about fund balance, and in regards to fund balance, the committee moved that the fund balance, what is in the fund balance, or a portion thereof, be committed for the purpose of capital projects which are part of the referendum if the fund balance levels increase above the board's goal and policy of at least 18% of the anticipated general fund expenditures for the subsequent year. Next, we talked a little bit about the OPEB trust transfer. And here, the Board of Education considered an additional payment to other post-employment benefits if the trust fund, if health insurance costs would be less than the premium estimate and included in our current budget. So this is significant in that it allows us to make payments into what, what the state deems as
Auditors.
Pardon?
Auditors, probably.
Yeah, the auditors deem as the amount that we should be there. And this came online, how many years ago now, John? 6, 7?
Quite a few.
So we've been playing catch up every year, and we're getting there, but there's still obviously some gains that we could be had. So this is a great opportunity for us as well. We then had a letter from our new auditors, just some audit communication letting us know what the audit will entail, and if we have any questions, whom we should be contacting. We looked at then a few budget adjustments, and the Finance Committee moved those forward to the full board. And then we had 2 waiver of rental fees, which the board did accept, and I moved forward to the full board for this evening. And then as far as future items for discussion, there was request for a breakdown of expenditures of the referendum, a review of the referendum budget of actual activity, and the 2014-2015 budget preview. The meeting was then adjourned at 6:05 p.m.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions? Okie doke. Thank you. John, please, for curriculum.
Curriculum Committee met on July the 8th, and we began our meeting with update on grants. We were pleased to learn that Second Harvest has provided us with $2,500 for our already underway summer food program. I should add, by the way, that I understand that our Free Meals for Kids program this summer is again experiencing success, and I'll give another plug if you don't know about it. Free Meals for Kids right here in Beloit all summer long. If you don't know about it, check it out. Also, we approved a program called Dreambox that we voted on by the full board later this evening. It's a computer-based learning program compatible with iPad, which was piloted last year at Robinson School. This fall, we intend to move it into all of our 4K through 3 schools, And the nice thing about this program is it can be individualized to each kid's existing body of knowledge and each kid's learning pace. So no kid is unchallenged, but no kid is over their head either, which is really a nice thing. It's also tied to the Common Core standards, which fits in well with the progress that we're making academically with the school district with Common Core. We were also presented with a pilot program for this fall, which will be implemented at Gaston School, and it's called STREAM, which stands for STEM, and STEM is science, technology, education, and mathematics, plus reading and the arts. And I personally like this a lot. I think that STEM is wonderful, but I also think that literacy and the arts are tremendously important as well. So I like this whole idea. And each grade, and this is another 4K through 3 school, each grade in this 4K through 3 school will have a common block of time. And in that common block of time, a rich variety of learning activities will be presented. Much of it's coming from National Geographic, but it also included will be a school garden, collaborations with Welty Environmental Center, Yerkes Observatory in Williams Bay, local businesses. There will be some project-based learning. The Lego STEM program will also be included. Just a ton of interesting stuff to broaden and stimulate our kids academically and intellectually. And we're really excited to see how this is going to turn out. Finally, through funding from our Inspire grant, we approved 5 new courses for our students who are parents or pregnant. And this is also coming to the board for approval a little later this evening. We want both mothers and fathers, if both are our students, to be involved. Parenting skills can define the entire trajectory of a kid's life. These courses are a tremendous asset. One course, Practical Pediatric Science, has to do with kids' health, obviously. 2 others have to do with school readiness, one dealing with math and one dealing with reading. Again, how a kid starts in school has a profound effect on their entire academic career. The other 2 courses are youth sports and coaching, along with civic and community participation. And I'm excited about the idea of strengthening our young parents' skills. I think parenting is incredibly important, and I'm so glad to see us using our Inspire grant money on behalf of parenting. And so I'm looking forward to the implementation of this program, and I think it's going to be just an excellent one. Any questions?
Questions? No? Okay, thank you. Nora?
The Policy and Personnel Committee met on June 24th prior to our business meeting to approve personnel recommendations. Also at that meeting for future discussion, the committee would like to put on future agendas a policy for public and community use of the swimming pool and fitness facility. So that would be a new policy that we'll look at creating. Don't know what a timeline would be on that, but that will be a future item for our Policy and Personnel Committee. On July 8th, our committee met to discuss policies for first reading, minor revisions, and then we have some policies for second reading. And again, just to remind the audience, there are 890 policies, and what we're trying to do is systematically go through those policies as needed, and then also update with minor revisions, anything that we see that needs to be done.
And delete where necessary.
And delete where necessary, and in fact, we are deleting one this evening.
879.
Whoops, my little, excuse me. So the policies tonight that we'll be discussing as far as minor corrections are one on digital media, another one on inventories. The one we'll be deleting has to do with the use of school equipment and the use of it with the rules, and that's policy 742. You can find these policies online on our website if you want to read them. And the reason why we are deleting it is it's just no longer used. It's one that was created probably, I can't remember if it was in the 1990s, but we don't use it. Then we have second reading policies for wellness, and the reason why that came forward is we would like to encourage nutrition in our classrooms for rewarding our students. Right now, some rewards are done with food, and we'd like to get away from that and use some creative ways of rewarding our students. So we looked at that whole policy and updated that. That's policy 761. It's our wellness policy, which will come to us later tonight. A second reading for policy 751, rule 1, which has to do with general transportation and guidelines. There was only 1 or 2 sentences that had to be updated there. And then for future, we also talked about that we are looking at, it's not on our agenda tonight, we're looking at our grant policy. Very shortly, we'll be using our foundation, and we want to make sure this policy is written so that it can address the needs of the school and the foundation, and that we're all on the same page. So we're kind of looking at that at a future meeting, as well as we will be looking at any policies that have not been updated since maybe the mid-1990s. Some of them we might end up deleting because they may be archaic. We had a legislative update, and Missy Henderson, who is a committee member, brought in an article about the positive outcome of using Common Core. And then there was a comment that was made by Lene Toro about how Common Core is really just a set of goals for the grade level. So we talked a little bit about that, and we hope to bring forward through the committee to the whole board some other legislative issues that might be hot topics in the future. So that was our committee report, and if there's any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Noah. Any questions? Okay, we're ready to move forward. So next item up is the consent list. All items with an asterisk enacted in one motion. Mr. John?
I've got a correction for one of them. Can I just make it a part of the motion?
How about that?
All right. On page 17, third paragraph, Ramsdale moved approval of the playground equipment bid to Lee Recreation an amount of $50,000, seconded by Hackett. There is no such person on our board.
How were you?
So I don't know who did second it, but it surely wasn't Hackett. And so I would like to either just seconded by blank, or if Missy wants to, Missy was there, and it had to be either Missy or Mark, because I was presiding, and so I didn't second it, and Michael made the motion, so he didn't second it. So it had to be either Missy or Mark. And Missy, if you'd like to fess up to having seconded that motion.
I don't think I spoke faster than Mark, so he probably did.
Mark. All right, so we'll get it corrected.
All right, very good. So I would move approval of the consent list with that correction.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have a question for clarification on page 23 in the board report summary. On Fund 10 and 27, there's a substantial net change.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was going through the supporting pages, which are great to have, I can't seem to put my finger on it. I mean, I can see the number showing on the bottom of page 27 under other objects in the subtotal, but it doesn't, I'm having a hard time understanding.
Yes.
Okay, this is an easy one, and it's kind of fun because it has to
Excellent.
do with the foundation. So this is that $50,000 playground grant we were just talking about. What happened is we received it in January, but we had to pay it out to the foundation in May as we worked things out, organizing the foundation. So that's why that's a negative. So that was money we originally had in Fund 21, which is our gift fund, and they required that it went into a 501c3. So as soon as we got our accounts open and everything ready, we reclassified it and moved it into the separate account.
Janelle, I think the other question was about the first line, Fund 1027, or that same page 23, right at the top.
Okay.
expense $6 million. And
The-
I think Shannon was asking kind of, can you point us at the kind of, what's the major driver of that 6?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're talking about 10 and 27?
Yeah.
The negative net change in 10 and 27? That's a timing difference because the way that our revenue comes in from primarily the state equalization aid, it comes in at certain times of the month. And so there's a lot of months where we have to fork over expense and we don't have the associated revenue.
So we can add, while we're having this little brief notation, right, that that's state helping us out, right? So
Yes.
it pushes us close to that short-term borrowing, which we don't do because we maintain a wonderful fund balance. Thank you, board, you're making that happen. Thank you, Janelle, and everybody else in the district for helping us to make sure that we do that, right? Because other districts, as I was learning up north, having a conversation with a school board member at a eating establishment, they fund balance, they short-term borrow all the time. I was flabbergasted. He didn't know how we didn't have to. So it was an interesting conversation.
So what happens is the Department of Public Instruction, who we receive our funding from, they delay our last payment all the way until the end of July, just so you guys know. Yeah, it's a significant payment, over $20 million. It's delayed, and that's just one example. That was done years ago as the state needed to balance their budget.
We'll keep our comments to ourselves on that one. So. All right, so it's been moved and seconded, and we've kind of tweaked a little bit. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we have a spotlight grant as our next item. Is there a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hackett After School State Line Community Award Grant Award Acceptance.
I move approval of CND, so also Education for Homeless
you.
Children and Youth Grant Award acceptance.
Is there a second? Second, okay. Questions or comments? Again, this is, if I'm remembering right, put all these together, it's over $100-some thousand. Thank you to those that are writing the grants. Let's remember that. Please, staff, pass those on to all those folks that are working hard, because they don't just appear at our doorsteps. Somebody has to write them and make it happen. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item E, fund balance designation. This is something we do each year. The auditors ask us to look at it, and Janelle has dutifully brought that to us. Is there a motion?
Move approval? Second?
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Transfer of OPEB funds. Is there a motion?
Move approval? I'm smart.
Okay. Missy is moving approval. He is standing in for Mark tonight, so moved and seconded. Again, this is one of those opportunities we have because we are allowed to transfer these funds at the end of the budget year, so it helps out our OPEB question and allows staff to be able to catch the last of our budget and use it efficiently. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Budget adjustments as noted in the book. John? No.
Move approval?
Move approval. Hello. I
Second.
got a motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right. Dreambox site license, K-3 schools.
Move approval.
Thank you, John.
Second?
Okay. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? New course proposals, 14-15.
Move approval.
Second. Question, Shannon.
So we have a question and a concern. The concern is we have a policy as to when new course proposals should be coming in front of the board, and we're off by about 9 months on this. And the other one is how, if we're approving it tonight, it's proposal for this year. Schedules are made, students have registered before school got out. How are students going to be aware that the classes are even offered?
You want to do this first, then I have one.
Yeah, a couple things. One, obviously, we couldn't approve this until we got the grant, and we just got the grant. So that made it a special instance, obviously. Now, the logical question then that you would follow up with would be, well, how could you get it done that fast? And the answer is not easy, but we got Amy Levy, and she does great work. And so we have been, and she's literally been living with this all summer long, as we heard earlier this evening, working with the good people at Head Start, already working with a lot of our student moms and moms-to-be. And so that's fine. We also pretty much had a lot of information that came with the grant in terms of how we could, organize the courses. And we had a commitment, which I love, to the idea that we're going to use this grant for parenting skills. And I think that's been phenomenal as well. Now, as far as fitting it into schedules is concerned, it's actually built around the part of the time of school where the mothers are going to be over at Head Start. And why don't you come up here, Amy, and help me answer that question? All right.
Because otherwise, like a good board member, we just keep making stuff up, right? So, not that we do that often, but every once in a while.
Good evening. Excellent question. These courses will be offered outside of the master schedule, so there won't be scheduling implications. My hope, we're still getting people on board who are interested in writing the curriculum, that it'll be handled through Moodle. So the majority of this coursework will be independent study. So students will have access to up to 5 courses, each being 1 credit, but it will be work in addition to what's currently on their schedule.
Okay. One more.
So, thank you. If it's going to be independent study, then we do have policies that students need to apply and have an advisor, which I'm assuming would most likely be yourself, hopefully. I'm trying to think. The policy for independent study, the student has to write their proposal, have their associated coursework, which will be designated within what we have in front of us. They'll have a designated advisor who will sponsor them. And then it has to be signed off by a principal or a designee of the principal. So do we need to adjust, tweak, or do anything with policies either for the implementation of a course at a later date and also to include the opportunity for these students to take it via independent study? Because there are a lot of different requirements for that independent study.
So take you off the hook for a second, Amy. Some of these things, Shannon, are because they're considered alternative students, okay? And because alternative students by nature are put into a different category, they do not follow the structure of the regular board policy, because by law, we must adopt and adapt curriculum and opportunities for the students. So school-age parents are always under that guise, and most of what Amy does is pretty creative work. So
One more that Ms.
One more, because this is looking at the course opportunities. I think that there are some great opportunities for students who are not also school-age parents. So are other students, or are all students, I shouldn't say other, are all students able to opt into these courses even though they're going to be outside the regular scheduling?
Yes. In order to use the funding for the Inspire grant, my focus has to be on currently pregnant or parenting students. But if other students in the district benefit from the courses that are going to be created, then that's wonderful. We use the model for at-risk students, so that's how we're able to accommodate our pregnant and parenting students. Now, if tweaking needs to be made for students that don't fall into the at-risk category to access the coursework, I'm sure those are minor adjustments that we can be made that would fall into the traditional schedule of when courses are approved and when they are taken and added to the schedule, et cetera.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Cool. Missy.
Amy, isn't this looked upon, I don't want to, as somewhat a credit recovery too, isn't it? I mean, so they can catch up and get credit for this along with maybe what they might be missing.
The thinking behind the creation of the courses is that we currently have 49 students in the district that are identified as pregnant or parenting. I'm sure once we do our push to identify all students that fall into that category this fall, that we'll see that that number will increase. But one of the things that I have run into is that students who become pregnant or are parenting quickly understand how difficult that is and how hard it is to balance I'm pregnant or I'm parenting and I'm also a student, and in many cases they fall behind, their attendance suffers, and this would give students an opportunity, if they're motivated, to work outside of the school day in addition to their regular scheduled work and to catch up with their cohort so that we're not losing students because they feel like I already don't fit in and now I'm falling behind, and what's the point?
Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, we have a motion and a second. John has a question or a comment?
No, I just had a comment. After the curriculum committee meeting, Amy said, "Do I need to be at the board meeting?" And I said, "No, we can handle it."
You were on your way. You were okay.
I'm really glad you ignored that, Amy. We're glad you're here.
Thanks for covering for him. Okay. So with that, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And we will move forward next to policy 112 and 411. Jay.
I move approval Move approval for policies 112, non-discrimination, and policy 411.3, student harassment, with one minor change.
Please say the change.
And the change is in policy 112 to add the word religion in between the word race and national origin.
And we're doing that because it is already in 411.
It's already
right?
in policy 411.3, and for some reason, it wasn't in 112, and it needs to be.
So a matter of consistency.
Consistency.
Okay, awesome.
I would second that with the amendment as noted.
And the only thing I would add is thank you to all of the wonderful staff and students who worked to help bring this to us and help us think through the change to the non-discrimination policy. I think it's awesome. And you know, what a great opportunity for learning again. I'm on my opportunity for learning kick tonight. So, you know, I'm sure they had to study that, right? They had to think about that. They had to present arguments, and all of that is what we want our students to be doing. So thank you to the staff who helped make that happen, and thank you to the students, wherever you are right now. You visited us earlier tonight, so thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Digital media use policy, second reading. I'm listening for a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Inventories policy.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Authorization school use equipment, 742, and Rule 1.
Move approval. Second.
Second. Is there questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wellness, second reading, 761.
Move approval.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. General Transportation Guidelines, second reading, 751, Rule 1.
Move approval.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we have personnel recommendations, and the only thing I want to point out, so we have this in front of us tonight. This is an updated. For those of you that weren't at personnel and policy, we have one name we wanted to add, and I will put a caveat on it. We normally do not approve coaches. It's not in our normal, that's not the process this board normally has done. Coaches is hired as a coach's contract. I don't know what the official name is, but not necessarily on staff yet. It's not something the board normally sees. But we thought sometimes coaches are high profile or higher profile than normal. So the committee, I think, added, and I'll get the name right, it is Kurt Bukes, right, the new hockey coach. There is a mini resume in front of us, so you can kind of see kind of backgrounds. So we got that. And if we want more information, I'm sure we can get it. But I thought it was appropriate that we can at least kind of put our pass on this one as well and make that happen. Because, you know, some people in the community want to know that we looked at it too. So we've added that name as this amended. And please, Michelle has that all dutifully recorded. So is there a motion to pass the personnel recommendations as revised?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Questions about it?
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
Sure. No, I mean, it's an important piece that we do. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Perfect.
John?
Items of interest for consideration at future meetings.
John, can I have a point of clarification? 'Cause
Yes, please.
I was getting a little confused as we were going through policies. I just want to clarify that policy 742, it was actually a deletion. So what
yes,
we
it
moved
is.
this evening, it says second reading, but it's actually a deletion of that policy.
Right? Nora, you have that? Deletion. Yay for deletions. Where are we? 779 policies? Down one?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to put it up on the board in the boardroom, right? It's like bring it down, keep going. So thank you, Shannon. That's great. Items of interest for consideration at future meetings. No? Okay. All right, with that, we have, next board meetings will be August 12th for committee meetings, finance, transportation, property, curriculum, policy, and personnel. And the next business meeting, August 26th, and I will give you a hint. We are, and board members as well, Michelle and I have received no objections to August 19th workshop for us. Please shoot either one of us some thoughts on agenda. Again, we're thinking short, sweet, but at a time when we can kind of talk together and think about our own goals and think about stuff that kind of, it's on our list. We haven't really sat down and done that for a while. We include Steve and some of the administrative team. But think about, do you have one or two goals that are just really important for you right now that you've been thinking about? Let's get those out there and at least kind of figure out where they fit into the picture and what we might want to do with those. So it'll be a chance to do that. And then maybe there's always one or two other things, but I want to keep the agenda short so we can keep a focus on what we're doing. If that sounds okay to everybody. All of you that are not here, it sounds okay to them too. Okay, we're good. All right, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Please go out and get custard or whatever we need from our wonderful benefactor friends at Converse, or wherever you choose to go, so we won't slight those people either. Oh, cool.